Good evening and welcome to the October 24th, 2023 meeting of the Abington Board of School Directors. I note the attendance of all board members with the exception of Mr. Allen, Ms. Fazy, Ms. Glasser, and Mr. Muhammad, who are all excused. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. The Abington Board of School Directors has convened this evening's meeting at the Administration Building, and the public is welcome. In consideration of the health and safety of the school community, this meeting is also being broadcast live on the Abington School District YouTube channel. This meeting is being recorded and will be accessible on the district's website and cable channel no later than Friday, October 27, 2023, to allow those members of the public who cannot participate to view the proceeding at a later time. Comments from citizens will be conducted in person and by phone. Information regarding participating remotely in public comment will be displayed on the screen at the time of public comment. The board thanks the public in advance for its cooperation. This is a place where we hold dignity in high regard. Your voices are welcome in this space. Are there any any additional agenda items from my fellow board members or from Dr. Fetcher?
Nothing at this time.
Thank you. Opening comments from my fellow board members. Ms. Frazier?
Go Phillies.
Mr. K? Mr. K?
First pitch is 32 minutes away, so we'll just keep moving it along.
Dr. Mowry?
It's hard to follow those two opening remarks except to say welcome everyone.
Dr. Kleiman?
Go Phils.
Dr. Fetcher?
Good evening, welcome everyone. Thanks for coming out to support the students and the school district. Appreciate your time, and hopefully we could be expeditious as possible for those who would like to watch the game.
Then I think we should get started with our board honors.
Okay. At this time, I'd like Ms. Ali Artur, Communications Coordinator, to share videos highlighting recent media coverage of Abington School District.
Good evening, Dr. Fetcher, Mrs. Brown, and members of the board. Tonight, I'm pleased to share 3 recent news clips with you. On Saturday, October 14th, Highland Elementary School celebrated its 100th anniversary with its past, present, and future school community members, including former students and retired staff. Our oldest alumni in attendance was Mr. Wayne Cunningham, who completed his 6th grade year at Highland in 1944. The event, which was organized by Highland's PTO, was covered by Action News on PHL 17 and by CBS 3. On Friday, October 20th, Fox 29's Bob Kelly of Good Day Philadelphia went live from McKinley Elementary School during their morning Phillies pep rally, Go Phils, where students cheered together as a school community and displayed their McKinley heart. And finally, earlier this week, one of our Abington Senior High School students was named Athlete of the Week on PHL 17 News. Jude Large, a 9th grade ice hockey player, was featured on the morning broadcast of the station. I'm now proud to share these clips with you.
A school in Montgomery County is celebrating 100 years of service. Highland Elementary in Abington Township threw a big centennial party for families, faculty, and alumni today. Everyone enjoyed food trucks, mini golf, face painting, and a gymnasium full of games. Lots of Highland memorabilia from the past 100 years were also on display.
Here's Bob at another pep rally. Montrose.
Hey, gang, come on, we got the film fanatic here. Let's go. McKinley Elementary School. 400 students. JMO in the parking lot. There's going to be no schoolwork done today. A loss was just a speed bump. We're live from Elkins Park when we come right back. Stay right here, ready?
It's time for Kelly's Classroom, Montgomery County, because we're cheering on the Phillies.
Hey, gang, good morning, everybody. We're live from McKinley Elementary School. Who's your favorite player?
Bryce Harper.
How about you?
Bryce Harper.
Look at all of the kids out in the schoolyard. Come on, Elkins Park. Wow. Principal Dan, come here. How many students you have here altogether?
So we got over 600 students here at McKinley Elementary here in Elkins Park and serving the borough of Rockledge. We are super pumped up to be here today with all of you. What an awesome day. McKinley has heart, just like the Phillies.
I gotta ask you, what's it been like trying to teach the last couple of weeks?
Well, I got to tell you, with all this excitement, it hasn't been the easiest thing, and I don't know how much we're going to get done today. I sure hope a lot, but it's not the easiest task.
And the teachers are into it, the kids are into it, and I love it because they get a chance to kind of, this doesn't happen often.
No, nothing better than feeling excited and good about coming to school. You got to be excited about the Phillies, and we have a lot of teamwork happening here, so we got a lot in common with the Phillies, too.
All right, let's go around. Here's the kindergarten! The kindergarten kids, think about it, gang. You know, how often does something like this happen, not only here in Philadelphia, anywhere in the kid's lifetime? Growing up, the Phillies never made it to the playoffs, so now we have the Phillies. We got the Eagles. Come on, first grade! They got the Rally Towels. I love it. And again, what's good is that the next two games are on television, and it's at 8 o'clock games. It's on a Friday. It's on a Saturday, so the kids can stay up late and watch the Phillies. You know, it's been tough, too. How's it been with the kids staying up late on the weeknight games?
Well, that 5 o'clock game helped a lot last night, I think. And thankfully, tonight's a Friday, so no school tomorrow. You can't beat that for a Phillies game.
Okay, no school tomorrow, no homework. Live from McKinley and Elkins Park. Back to you guys. Go Phillies!
That Bob Kelly's a powerful man. No school tomorrow.
On Mondays here at PHL 17, we like to highlight a student athlete from the Delaware Valley. And this morning, I'm going to introduce you to a student who is a star on the ice.
The feeling of being on the ice, I mean, it's just unmatched. It's like an escape. It's not reality, basically.
Jude Large is only a freshman at Abington Senior High, but on the ice, he plays like a veteran. The 15-year-old has been playing hockey since he learned to walk and now has big dreams for the sport.
I want to go to Boston College when I'm older.
Jude is on the ice 6 days a week, 3 for practice and 3 for games, and he wouldn't want to spend his time any other way.
I really like the team and like having friendships, and you build a lot of friendships over the years.
But success in the sport of hockey, it doesn't come easy, and it certainly doesn't come injury-free.
I've had a couple this year. I've gotten 5 x-rays, 3 injuries. I separated my shoulder, fractured my wrist, and then broke my finger.
Those injuries have healed, and they aren't holding him back.
I mean, I really hope we go to playoffs or districts. Your failure is where you learn, and staying dedicated to it will really help you stay driven and really help you get good at the sport.
Thank you.
Great. I want to continue.
Yes, please.
Yeah, that was great news, and love the pep rally. Hopefully we can, as I said last meeting, do that before every board meeting, have a pep rally of sorts, and I get excited to be here. So, that being said, know many of you are here this evening for our art exhibit and our celebration of our students for their talents in art. And tonight we have Dr. Matthew Harris with us, who is our supervisor of fine arts. I'd like to thank in advance all of the art teachers who are here as well, and those who've worked with our students to make this possible. And one thing that I appreciate about the art exhibit are the artworks that are displayed in this building. So fortunately, I have the opportunity to see them on a daily basis, which does brighten my days, or in some cases, some of the artwork maybe not brighten my day, but make me think about life in some fashion or another. So I'd like to, in advance, thank our students for your contributions, our teachers, and turn it over to you, Dr. Harris.
Good evening. Thank you, Mrs. Brown, Dr. Fetcher, and Board of Directors, and welcome student artists and family members. Some of our students have even journeyed back to the district here from their collegiate pursuits to share this special evening with us. We enthusiastically honor our student artists this evening as we share our 2023-2024 art exhibit with the entire school community. Art faculty have selected the student artwork created during the previous school year and have installed it here in the first floor of the administration building, as well as the boardroom we're sitting in right now in the back. These student works capture remarkable points of pride for student achievement, for growth, and commitment in our visual arts programming across all the school buildings and grade levels. We will conclude this evening with honoring several students who were awarded juried art awards for their successful competition results with works they created here in our visual arts program at the Abington Senior High School. And as we begin this opening of this year's exhibit, we would like to note that Abington School District has been designated an outstanding visual arts community by the Pennsylvania Art Education Association for the third consecutive year. PAEA's designation criteria focuses on identifying school districts where visual arts programming is rigorous, inclusive, accessible, and visible. We are very proud to share this update and affirmation of our continued dedication and support, and that extends to all of the stakeholders that make that possible, especially our dedicated arts faculty. And as we view the artwork in this presentation, I'll first introduce the art faculty members who will then distribute the certificates and recognize each of the students as they file over here in front of you. You're welcome to take pictures during the presentation, but following, and I will announce it, we're going to have photo ops out in the lobby, and everybody will be able to get their picture taken at that time. So we're going to plan to hold our applause. There will be two segments. First, the elementary segment. We'll pause and shift outside, and then the secondary segment. So please note that the grade levels listed on the exhibit were the grades the students were in at the time that artwork was created. So we're going to begin here with Ms. Dana Tascarella, Mr. Anthony Shelton, and Ms. Patty Forrest, who recognize our student artwork from Copper Beach Elementary School. This includes Maren Schmauk's piece entitled Chameleon. Grace Sue's Starry Night Inspiration. Eloise Hargadin's Picasso-inspired portrait. And Dana Midatello's fall landscape piece. Dara, pardon me. I even marked that. Ms. Patty Forrest recognizes our student artwork from Highland Elementary School, and this includes Annabelle Krupa's fall leaf piece inspired by Georgia O'Keeffe, and Connor Ting's fold art landscape. And Ms. Donazar recognizes our student artwork from McKinley Elementary School. This includes Andros Lee's piece titled Folk Art Elephant, and Francis Hinchy's Owl, as well as Veronica Haverliv's pointillism landscape work. Ms. Margie Johnson recognizes our student artwork from Overlook Elementary School. This includes Jaylee Rosario Gonzalez's work titled Shaking Dog, and Harper Drain's If You Give a Mouse a Cookie. Ms. Margie Johnson and Ms. Dana Tascarella recognize our student artwork from Roslyn Elementary School. That includes Cadence Idler's Polar Bear piece.
What's on the back wall?
And Douglas Lindley's piece titled Echo Flower. Ms. Natalie Hirsch recognizes our student artwork from Rydell Elementary School. This includes Nina Sopura-Shavili's Japanese koi fish, Maria Yusenko's piece called Lighthouse and Silhouette, and Jaden Kim's Reptile Eye. And Mr. Anthony Shelton recognizes our student artwork from Willow Hill Elementary School. These students were not able to join us tonight, but we honor them in their absence. This includes Jessica Jaglal's hand portrait and Mason Miller's work called Picasso Portrait. Please join us in congratulating all of these fine student artists for work created in our elementary programs. Dr. Fetcher, might there be any questions before we transition to photos for this group?
Well, first of all, it was difficult to try not to applaud.
We'll revise that.
It never works at graduation, so I figured, what the heck, I'll try it here. First of all, I just want to compliment all of you. Amazing work. I've said this before, I wish I had 1/10 the talent of what I see up here. And I believe that it is amazing to be able to share your talents with our community. And that's, I just encourage you to keep on working at it and continuing to share those things with our world. It makes our world a better place. Mm-hmm. And I think there are probably some board members that may have some questions as well.
Yeah, there was a term pointillism, a form of artwork. I take it that involves just dots, creating art with dots. Who did that? Pointillism, I think it's called? Is that creating artwork with dots? Oh, that's lovely. Be nice to see some of this artwork in the corridors of maybe the hospital, some of our educational institutions, et cetera.
Well, if you
to sort of put them out on loan.
Yeah. If anybody in the community frequents the Abington Library, our elementary buildings do exhibit there. Yeah.
Excellent.
Love that idea.
Just, I like to always compliment you only because I was just like you in that I still draw all the time and I illustrate books and things like that. And I just want you to know this is not just like a fun thing to do. If you really love it, keep on going. The technology, the styles that you're learning, it's just such beautiful work, and you have great teachers leading you on. So just keep it going. You could have some amazing things in your future. And thanks for sharing it with us. Just beautiful.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful.
So one of my favorite parts of coming to meetings is coming in the door and walking down the corridor and seeing all the student artworks on the walls. And I saw a bunch of your pieces this evening when I came in. And it always makes my day, always. It is an incredible gift to share the way you see the world with other people. So thank you.
I was going through trying to pick a favorite while we were going through all these pictures, and I can't decide which one is my favorite. So that's great for you all and really a problem for me. Thank you, though, for sharing your work with us. It's really fantastic.
Indeed, I am impressed and I am encouraged by your work, so keep it up. And some of you are only in first grade. My mind is blown by your ability. So I want you to take this work, and when you're a senior, compare, and wow, if you're blowing us away now, imagine what those senior portraits will look like. My mind can't even fathom. So kudos to you, and great job, art teachers, for giving them space to be so creative and to be celebrated. So if we can cheer on the Phils, we can definitely cheer on you. Great job.
Thank you. And at this time, the elementary art faculty will lead the students out for their photo op out in the lobby. Families of any students at the elementary level, you're welcome to join them in the lobby. If you'd like to transition at this time, you're also welcome to stay for the rest of the presentation.
Wow. It's amazing.
Figuring there are fewer people. They won't have to. I think they always seem like they get nervous of coming too close. They're comfortable with you. It's me.
And we're doing our best to meet that 8 o'clock timeline for the first pitch. So at this time, our secondary art faculty are going to make their way in for the presentation. And Mr. Mike McHugh, Ms. Trin Nguyen, Ms. Kelly Steinlage, and Ms. Alicia Wepper recognize our student artwork from the Abington Middle School this evening. Yep. And this artwork includes Kate Arabchuk's contour portrait piece. Also, Kirsten Barchi's color field abstract painting. Emma Serlog's piece titled Candy Wrapper. And Alexa Daly's watercolor contour portrait. Ms. Nicole Caracciolo, Ms. Amanda Corrigan, Ms. Marie Elson, Mr. David Farrow, and Ms. Chelsea Pugliese and Ms. Catherine Shields recognize our student artwork from the Abington Senior High School. This includes Julia Schaefer's self-portrait piece, Alexis Butts' work called Cowls, and we have a few parents who are proudly receiving for their young artist tonight. Catherine Moran's piece called Self-Portrait. Yuli Murphy's Lego perspective work. Christina Young's folk art bark painting. And Zachary Miller's ceramic works titled Joy, received by his mom Nadine. The next part of this presentation highlights students I mentioned earlier who received commendations for their meritorious achievements in competitions, exhibits where they entered in and a panel of experts evaluated everyone's work. And these students earned the awards for Abington. This includes Maria Brubaker. Maria's self-portrait work won the Pennsylvania Art Education Association's Youth Art Month Photography Medium Award. Sarah Layson for her Blooming Gaze piece that won a regional second place award in the Congressional Art Competition sponsored by Congresswoman Madeline Dean. Bella Meltzer. Bella's piece titled Lunchroom won a first place award in the Wharton Esherick Imprint Contest. And Brianna Mae Pierce. Brianna's work titled In Deep Reality won the Rosemary Hamilton Memorial Educator's Choice Award in the Pennsylvania State Education Association's Touch the Future juried exhibit. So Mr. Farrow kindly noted that other art teachers voted for our students rather than the ones they entered. And last but certainly not least, Lily Punzo. Lily's untitled ceramic and vines piece won the Selma Burke Sculpture Award, and the Pennsylvania State Educators Association Touch the Future juried exhibit. Please join us in congratulating our student artists for work created in our middle and high school programs.
I just want to say, everyone knows Selma Burke, that she won the award from, because Selma Burke made the sculpture that's on the nickel.
Dr. Fetcher, are there any questions this evening for this group?
Well, first of all, I just want to compliment everyone and thank you for your dedication. It's amazing how we see this talent harnessed into what comes out on the screen here, but also in your works of art. And I couldn't be more proud to display them here, but also those of you who have displayed them in other venues and have been judged in other venues. It's a real testament to you, your talent, and your dedication, because these things do not come easily, even with extreme talent. So I applaud you for your efforts and encourage you to keep on shining and doing what you do. You do very well and contribute to our community, and those of you who have gone on to beyond the Abington community can continue to contribute to the world. It's pretty amazing.
Stay weird.
She does.
I do.
Just the amount of talent is just amazing. I work in a retirement community, and we have people who are 80, 90, 100 years old, and they're still doing their art. They get together every Friday morning, and you have about 30 people doing all kinds of different art. And I asked them, what about it is so exciting? And they said, it's been part of me my whole life. It's gotten me through so many different things. It's let me share experience. It's let me relax. It's all kinds of things. And you're already doing it. Hold on to that and just enjoy it. Yes, you can make a career out of it, but even more importantly, you can make a happy life out of it. So keep on keeping on. It's just beautiful.
Your art not only make me say wow, but it also makes me think. I almost want to say, can I have, well, I don't drink coffee, but set an atmosphere where we could drink some water and talk about
Sounds super fun.
and just talk about your art. What motivated you? What story are you trying to tell? And what do you want the person to get out of it? Because it really made me wow. It wowed me, but it also made me think. So thank you so much for sharing that with me, sharing that with us, and continue to share with the world. Okay? Anyone else? Thank you so much.
Thank you, student artists and faculty. At this time, we can make our way to the lobby for our final photo shoot of the evening. And in closing, it's an honor to share this exhibit with you. We again recognize the sustaining support from everyone here and beyond. And note that the connectedness that we share in this district is part of what keeps the arts in Abington meaningful and growing for our students. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Dr. Fetcher, does that conclude our honors for this evening?
Yes, it does.
Excellent. We'll give a moment for transitioning. But while we do that, I want to make sure we know that comments from citizens are next. So I will read what to be expected, and then once the room calms down, we'll open up for comments. So comments from citizens are being conducted both in person and by phone. The phone number to participate in public comment is 267-715-3717 and is being displayed on the screen at this time. You will be able to call in using your landline or mobile phone. If you're within the room, please state your name and address, and please be sure to speak clearly so we can all hear you.
Hey, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Joe Rooney. It's a tough segue from that really impressive thing. First, just a quick question. I wasn't able to fit in here for the beginning of the meeting, so are the 4 school directors online, or are they excused?
Excused.
They're excused. So the Phils are playing Game 7 tonight, and we're all here, and 4 school directors didn't even take time to come to the meeting. This is really unprofessional. I mean, I think you all agree with me. Mr. Kay, you would agree with me. I know that for sure, but staff's here. There were all these other people coming in here, and school directors don't show up for the meeting. It's terrible. Sort of in that line, I'd like to go back, because I've been hearing some rumors, and I wanted to review the school discipline thing, because we had 3 meetings with the board policy where they worried about taking recess away from students. And that went back and forth. Then as the school district started the semester, we have 4 pretty rough fights that we know about, and I know there was more than that, but I don't know what the number was. There also was a load of parents that were complaining from last year into this year about bullying, about the fights, problems in the bathrooms in the middle school. And then there was a great bullying presentation. Dr. Fetcher, that guy was really good, and he gave the best definition of bullying that I've ever heard. I hope it's incorporated into the district thing. That happened to be the same day as a riot. There were 13 arrests, 4 fights, riot, and assault is what that was. And the other fights, I don't know what happened to them, but obviously you all did. I guess the big question I would love to know, get an answer is, we may not be able to know details, and I'm not asking about individual students, but what happened for the fights and what happened since then. I know you hide behind this thing where we can't tell anybody about anything, but you presented a table. 1 minute left? Golly. You presented a table. How did it work? Because the rumors that I've heard is the assailants in the fights got 3 days of suspension. I don't know if it's true, I don't know if it's false, but I've heard it from more than one person. So how's that fit into that table, and how's it work? I know you're smiling, so I may be wrong, and that's fine. So, but we'd love to know what the details are, and I don't know why people are telling me so. I can't read between the lines there. So we need to maintain order in the schools, and we can't have education if we don't have order and we don't enforce discipline. And if we don't have adequate discipline for people who actually do stuff wrong, then first off, the 95 or 98% of the kids that aren't involved but suffer consequences of it lose out. But the perpetrators do too. Because if we're trying to turn young people into adults, then we have to know that their actions have consequences. And hopefully they'll learn from that, and it'll become productive members rather than disruptive members. Thank you for the time.
Thank you for your time. There are mics to the left and to the right of you. Please be sure to state your name and address. Mr. Sneak, can you confirm that there are no callers on the line?
That is confirmed.
Thank you. Dr. Fetcher?
I think that I would like to take a moment to just review the disciplinary policy and procedures that we have for infractions that are in place. And I'll do this briefly since we did this at a previous meeting. For when there is an offense that falls under the category that is suspendable or expellable, the first step within that process is a 3-day suspension. So someone may have said, oh, a student just received a 3-day suspension. That's part of our process. After the 3-day suspension, it is referred to the principal of the building, who can make a determination to go up to and including a 10-day suspension. Once it goes beyond 10 days suspension, it is referred to the office of the superintendent with the ability to have a hearing, and anything that is 11 days or greater is considered an expulsion from school in the state of Pennsylvania. If a student is expelled from school, which also means that their educational plan does continue within outside of the regular realm of the school, that is brought to the section of our meeting on confidential student matters, and that is a vote from, that must be upheld by the Board of School Directors. So there's a recommendation based on this from the superintendent's office, but also based on the ability to have a hearing and or a waiver to the hearing. So I just wanted to take a moment to review. Those are the steps that people must go through in order to follow something up to and including expulsion. And I think it's important, when the 3 days was mentioned, I'm almost certain that that is because that is the first step along the way in the process.
Thank you for the clarification. At this time, we'll move forward with agenda item number 5. Dr. Kleiman, can you please read the recommendation to approve the personnel addendum?
It is recommended that the Board of School Directors approves the changes in personnel as reflected in Personnel Addendum number 5.1.
Second.
We have a second. Dr. Fetcher.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. The personnel addendum begins with item number 1 and the appointment of 2 professional employees. Personnel addendum continues with the hiring of substitutes, acceptance of donated days, compensation for an after-school tutoring program, curriculum projects, IEP meetings, interpreter and translation services, open houses, parent meetings, and support personnel items.
Thank you. Questions or comments from the board? Mrs. Young?
Ms. Frazier?
Aye.
Mr. Kay?
Aye.
Dr. Mallory?
Aye.
Dr. Kleiman?
Aye.
Mrs. Brown?
Aye. Ayes have it and motion passes. Dr. Kleiman, can you please read the recommendation for approval of the financial report?
It is recommended that the Board of School Directors approves the financial report for the period ending September 30th, 2023, as reflected in Addendum number 6.1.
Second.
We have a second. Dr. Fetcher.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. I'm going to ask Mr. O'Neill to please review.
Financial report for the period ending September 30, 2023. Revenue. As of September 30, 2023, we received $115.2 million of the $178.1 million revenue budget, which equates to 65.2% of the revenue budget. In September 2022, we had collected $111.8 million of the then $168.5 million revenue budget, which equates to 66.3%. Year to date, we are $4.4 million ahead of last year, which is attributable to $5.5 million greater real estate tax collections than in September of 2022. On the expense side, year to date, we have expended $35.7 million of our $189.9 million expense budget, which equates to 18.8%. For the same time period last year, $36.6 million was expended of the then $180.9 million budget, which equates to 18.6%. That concludes the September 30, 2023 financial report.
Thank you. Questions or comments from the board? Mrs. Young?
Ms. Frazier?
Aye.
Mr. Kay?
Aye.
Dr. Mallory?
Aye.
Dr. Kleiman?
Aye.
Mrs. Brown?
Aye. Ayes have it and motion passes. Dr. Kleiman, can you please read the recommendation for approval of the payment of bills?
It's recommended that the Board of School Directors approves the payment of bills for the period ending September 30th, 2023, as reflected in Addendum number 7.1.
Second.
We have a second. Dr. Fetcher.
Thank you, Mrs. Brown. I'd be happy to answer any questions that you may have regarding the payment of the bills.
Thank you. Questions? Mrs. Young?
Ms. Frazier?
Aye.
Mr. Kay?
Aye.
Dr. Mallory?
Aye.
Dr. Kleiman?
Aye.
Mrs. Brown?
Aye. Ayes have it and motion passes. Dr. Kleiman, can you please read the recommendation for permits for the use of buildings and grounds?
It is recommended that the Board of School Directors approves the applications for permits for use of buildings and grounds as reflected in Addendum number 8.1. All permits are subject to change per the provisions of the Health and Safety Plan pertaining to the COVID-19 pandemic.
Second.
We have a second. Dr. Fetcher.
Thank you, Mrs. Brown. The permit addendum reflects typical requests for buildings and grounds for meetings and other school events and activities for this time of year. I bring your attention to permit number 200, which is the elementary student coat drive at Copper Beach Elementary School on November 9th, and field permit number 45A, which is for Abington 5K fundraiser for local pediatric cancer charities on November 18th at Abington Senior High School.
Thank you. Questions or comments?
Just one, the coat drive, is that just new coats or gently worn or age limit? Anybody? Like, are they just for children? Are they for older people?
They're for children, and I believe they're all new, donated.
Great, thank you.
And they're being given out to students who need them, not taken in, just so you know. Excellent.
From which organization?
Pardon me?
I missed, is there an organization associated with that? Did I miss that?
That donated the coats? I'm not sure.
There's a number of groups that have donated coats.
Any other questions? Mrs. Young?
Ms. Frazier?
Aye.
Mr. K?
Aye.
Dr. Mallory?
Aye.
Dr. Kleiman?
Aye.
Mrs. Brown?
Aye, ayes have it, and motion passes. Dr. Kleiman, can you please read the recommendation for awards of contracts?
It's recommended that the Board of School Directors approves the awards of contracts as reflected in addendum number 9.1.
Second.
We have a second. Dr. Fetcher?
Thank you, Ms. Brown. Tonight for your consideration, we have 4 awards of contracts. The first is for email security software. This is from the general fund budget. The HVAC control services, this is for October 1st, 2023 through September 30th, 2026. And first year is included in the general fund budget for this year, next year. The HVAC water testing and treatment, also from the general fund budget. And last is our security cameras at Abington Middle and Abington Senior High Schools, and these are paid for by the Pennsylvania Commission on Crime and Delinquency, PCCD grant.
Thank you. Questions or comments from the board? Mrs. Young?
Ms. Frazier?
Aye.
Mr. K?
Aye.
Dr. Mallory?
Aye.
Dr. Kleiman?
Aye.
Mrs. Brown?
Aye, ayes have it, and motion passes. Dr. Kleiman, can you please read the recommendation for the social media litigation contract?
It is recommended that the Board of School Directors approves the attorney-client fee contract with Dillon McCandless, King, Coulter, and Graham LLP, and France Law Group ALPC for the commencement of legal action on a contingency fee basis as outlined in the attached attorney-client fee contract.
Second.
Dr. Fetcher?
Thank you, Ms. Brown. I'm going to ask Mr. O'Donoghue if you could please review this item for the board.
Of course. This is a proposed engagement of these 2 law firms to represent the district in a contingency fee matter in which the district would be pursuing reimbursement for costs incurred based upon the mental health crisis that has been caused, that current adolescents are going through. Specifically, this action targets social media companies and the role that they have played in fostering and making that worse. There is no cost to the district for participation. The arrangement is that if the attorneys are able to recover or negotiate a settlement, the district would pay them a portion of the recovery.
Thank you. Questions or comments from the board?
For a variety of school districts are doing this, correct?
Correct. There are a number of school districts doing this across the country. It is not technically a class action. It is multi-district litigation, but it is not. It's not one action being brought on behalf of a number of school districts. Each is initiating its own action.
And it's also targeting different social media platforms, not just one in particular?
Correct.
Any additional questions or comments from the board? Mrs. Young?
Ms. Frazier?
Aye.
Mr. K?
Aye.
Dr. Mallory?
Aye.
Dr. Kleiman?
Aye.
Mrs. Brown?
Aye, ayes have it, and motion passes. Dr. Kleiman, can you please read the recommendation for the confidential student matter?
It is recommended that the Board of School Directors approves the confidential student matter as reflected in addendum number 11.1.
We have a second. Dr. Fetcher?
Yes. This evening, there's one student matter that is for an educational agreement, and there are 2 matters that are of disciplinary nature. Keeping in mind the confidentiality of student matters, I can answer any questions that you may have regarding student disciplinary matters or procedures at this time.
Questions or comments from the board? Mrs. Young?
Ms. Frazier?
Aye.
Mr. K?
Aye.
Dr. Mallory?
Aye.
Dr. Kleiman?
Aye.
Mrs. Brown?
Ayes have it, and motion passes. Dr. Fetcher, any additional reports for this evening?
I provide the conference attendance and professional leaves for your information.
Thank you. We'll move forward with comments from citizens. Comments from citizens are being conducted both in person and live. The phone number to participate in public comment is on the screen at this moment. It is 267-715-3717. You may call in on your landline or mobile phone. If you're within the room, please state your name and address.
Hi, I'm still Joe Rooney. And real quickly, Dr. Fetcher, I'll find out, but is that written down, that 3-day automatic suspension?
I didn't say automatic, but the procedures are outlined in our superintendent's administrative procedure.
Okay, I'll have to look that, I'll look that up.
Step
Thank
by
you very
step.
much. The second one is, look, before you guys decide not to come to a meeting, I mean, this is real professionalism, and it's actually an important job. It's a $191 million budget. There's 59,000 Abington residents, 22,000 tax accounts. If 4 of you all decide not to come to a meeting, reschedule the meeting. I mean, if you don't want to come to the meetings, then resign. Democrats control the board. You just appoint somebody else as a D. It'll be somebody that actually is interested. If all these people are coming to these meetings, it's a professionalism to actually show up at a job that you have, run and been elected. It's actually a sacred honor to do it. And, I mean, that's how I look at it. I know you all don't look at it that way, but it shows bad form. It represents Abington very poorly, and it doesn't reflect well on yourselves either. All you need is self-police, because you don't listen to me, but there's an awful lot of people paying a lot of money into our school district and parents who really are worried about their kids. And you owe it to them to show up at meetings. So thank you all.
Thank you for your voice. At this time, Dr. Fetcher, anything?
No.
Excellent. Closing comments from my fellow board members.
Nothing, thank you.
Mr. Kay? Dr. Mowry?
I neglected to say in my opening remarks, congratulations to the Highland community for its 100th anniversary. I had to be out of town that weekend, and so I couldn't attend. But both my kids went through Highland. It's a place that is near and dear to my family's heart. So congratulations.
Thank you. Dr. Kleiman?
Go Phillies.
Dr. Fetcher?
Nothing at this time. Thank you.
Everyone have a good night. This meeting is adjourned.